and the All Indiana Podcast Network. This is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Jenkins, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 Podcast for Monday, January 20th. We begin with news on the city's west side, where a man is dead after an early morning shooting. Police were called just before 3:40 to an apartment complex on North Warman Avenue near West New York Street. IMPD says officers found a man dead of a gunshot wound outside one of the apartments inside the building. Officers also say a person of interest has been detained. Investigators say they received several phone calls about this shooting. Anyone with information is encouraged to come forward. Right now, the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump is underway. Members of the Indiana National Guard are among those helping with security. News 8's Kyla Russell reports.
For nearly a week, about 140 members of the Indiana National Guard have been in D.C., hard at work preparing for Monday's 60th presidential inauguration.
So the preparation really is for the National Guard. It's one of the things that we do. We're always ready to execute the inauguration. In fact, the very first inauguration National Guard was part of.
The historic day marks the third consecutive inauguration the state's National Guard has participated in. The Guardsmen are from all over the state, including from Jasper, Plymouth, Monticello, Remington, and Indy. They're joining about 8,000 National Guard members from about 40 states to ensure everyone remains safe on the historic day.
What our team will be doing is helping with traffic control points. So when people are coming in, helping them, give them direction. Also, if we have crowds, we call it crowd management. If you have people lost or confused on the metro or at intersections, we're helping guide and give them information.
Each task is one Guard members learn from day one.
Throughout their year of training, like their regular training, they're doing the duties that they always are trained and evaluated on. So for them, this is just another place to execute their training. And what is it that they do? They're fully prepared and capable to take on this mission.
Lieutenant Colonel Amy Hoover has one message before the historic event kicks off.
And we're going to be here until the mission's over.
Lieutenant Colonel Hoover also told me some of the Guardsmen may be heading home, while some are sticking around to enjoy the sights and sounds of D.C. I'm Kyla Russell for Wish TV. WishTV.com or follow us on Facebook for updates.
A man from Indiana who first spoke to I-Team 8 while he was on the run following a conviction for storming the Capitol on January 6 4 years ago says he believes Donald Trump will pardon him and other defendants from the riots. The problem for Anthony Vo is that he is currently under arrest in Canada. I-Teammate's Tim Spears reports.
You escaped to Canada to avoid prison, and now you find yourself in Canada under arrest. Is there any sense of irony at the moment?
It's the same thing that led to my charges, my wrongful conviction in the U.S.
This past June, Anthony Vo escaped to Canada to avoid his 9-month prison sentence for joining the January 6th Capitol riot. He filed a refugee claim, arguing his conviction was purely political persecution. Nearly 7 months into the asylum process, the Canada Border Services Agency arrested Vo on the 4-year anniversary of the Capitol attack.
It was definitely politicized.
Right now, Vo does not face any criminal charges in Canada. Vo's attorney says he's lawfully in the country, despite a CBSA spokesperson telling News 8 there's no record of Vo entering at an official port of entry. Back in the States, federal authorities in Washington, D.C. this month charged Vo with failure to surrender. But Anthony still believes he will see a full pardon from President-elect Donald Trump. Donald Trump will be inaugurated on Monday. Do you expect to have a pardon as early as Tuesday?
According to his time interview for Person of the Year, they asked him what he was going to do his first day. He said he was going to pardon the January 6th prisoners and maybe within the first 4 hours, if not the first few hours, if not the first 9 minutes.
Vo believes he is being unlawfully detained and plans to file a judicial review in Canadian court challenging his detention.
These themes are pretty common, throughout history, through important people throughout history, Jesus, the apostles, different political leaders. I don't know. I consider it an honor and a blessing to be in this position.
Anthony Vo has had 2 hearings in Canada. Both times his request to be released has been denied. If President Donald Trump grants a pardon, Vo's attorneys tell me he can withdraw his asylum application and request to return to the U.S. In studio, Tim Spears for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook for updates.
When it comes to the weather, we are battling brutal temperatures. Storm Track 8 says this will likely continue through Wednesday. Meteorologist Marcus Bailey has your News 8 Daily 8 forecast.
This is dangerously cold stuff. That's why we have the weather alert. It's why we've gotten these push alerts on your phone if you have our Storm Track 8 weather app. Around the metro area, it is near zero in many locations. Now, again, this is the air temperature. It's not factoring in the wind chill, which is far, far worse here for this morning. Warmest spot that we could find in our area, Bedford and Shelbyville at 4, but several areas around 0. Greencastle, Richmond, Kokomo, Lafayette, all at 0. Here's the important numbers right now, 15 to 20 degrees below 0 with the wind chills. And that's why we have the weather alert in place. Don't have to be outside very long. If you have exposed skin, you can get frostbite real easily with these kind of numbers, all right? So make sure you're layering up and limit the exposure outside when you can here as we go, especially throughout the morning. Cold weather advisory, again, that's the alert, goes until 10 o'clock Wednesday morning. So just to show you how kind of extended this cold air snap will be. Now, we're not going to be tacking on any precipitation, at least. We'll see plenty of sunshine through the day. It just won't help the numbers at all. 0 at 9, 6 at noon, 10 for your high, and wind chills will likely stay sub-zero all day long. Now it gets a little better, maybe between 0 and 5 below as we get later in the afternoon, but still frigid. And again, well below average normal high should be around 36 degrees, and we're going to stay pretty cold here for the next several days. I am eyeing our next snow chance that is in the 7-day forecast and some hope on the horizon as temperatures hopefully rebound as we get closer to the end of the month. We'll talk much more about that in my Storm Track 8 forecast coming your way in just a few minutes.
To get a peek at Marcus Bailey's full forecast, just head over to wishtv.com. And don't forget, conditions will change throughout the day. So to make sure you have the most up-to-date forecast, download the Wish TV Storm Track 8 app. And for a more detailed look at conditions, you can check out our Storm Track 8 weather blogs. On to some international news. Israel has freed 90 Palestinian prisoners, while Hamas has released the first 3 Israeli hostages. That's under the ceasefire that's now in effect. The initial ceasefire time Sunday was delayed nearly 3 hours as Israel waited for the names of the 3 hostages that would be released. Talks to end the fighting were some of the final acts of President Joe Biden's administration.
Hundreds of trucks are entering Gaza as I speak. They're carrying assistance for civilians who suffered enormously from the war that Hamas started on October 7, 2023, nearly 15 months ago. Today alone, we anticipate several hundred trucks will enter the Gaza Strip as I'm speaking. And after so much pain, destruction, loss of life, today the guns in Gaza have gone silent.
If the ceasefire holds, the next exchange of Israeli hostages for Palestinian prisoners is scheduled to happen in about 5 days. Let's talk sports. It is finally National Championship Day in Atlanta, and Sports 8 is there ahead of tonight's kickoff. Sports Director Anthony Calhoun and Andrew Chernoff report.
We got Notre Dame against Ohio State. The winner is the national champion.
Yeah, Notre Dame has not won a national title since 1988 in AC. There's a lot of fans here who are at that game hoping to keep the mojo going on Monday night.
Yeah, speaking of the fans, we've seen a plethora of Irish fans here in Atlanta. There's no doubt they're ready to go.
No doubt about it. And here's the thing. There's going to be a lot of Ohio State fans in this building on Monday night for sure as well. But 2 great football teams, 2 historic programs, very similar to that Orange Bowl vibe that we saw in Miami.
Well, Ohio State, the Buckeyes, they're about a 9-point favorite heading into Monday night's showdown against the Irish of Notre Dame. Both coaches met with the media on Sunday morning for the final time, and they know it's going to be a battle Monday night.
I know Coach Day and a lot of people on his staff that have integrity and do things the right way, and it's about building young people and helping them grow, helping them be better individuals because of the time they've spent with us. And I think that's important, is that you can aspire to win national championships championships every year, but you can also make sure that the young people you're leading are better because of the time they spent with you. And I think that's a reflection of both football programs.
The fact that these are both, Midwest programs, large, fan base, alumni base, have an opportunity to recruit nationally. I think there's a lot in common there. And certainly everybody on our program has a lot of respect for Notre Dame.
So, we talked about the fans, we talked about the coaches as well, but also key play here, the quarterbacks. We got 2 dynamic quarterbacks as well.
Yeah, Will Howard clearly entered this season with a lot of pressure on him taking over at Ohio State. He's lived up and probably beyond. Riley Leonard, Mr. Competitor. I think that's the phrase that everyone uses, including Marcus Freeman. One of those guys is going to win a national champion. And here's the cool thing. They're buds. They were roommates in the Manning Passing Academy, so pretty cool to see them on the stage.
I know. I can't wait.
I cannot wait.
It's going to be a good one. We got Notre Dame getting set to take on Ohio State coming up on Monday. Don't forget, everybody, we got you covered right here on Wish TV with our pregame show, All Access Indy, the championship, live here from Atlanta, coming up Monday, 6:30, right here on Wish TV.
This has been your News 8 Daily 8 podcast for Monday, January 20th. I'm Jeremy Jenkins for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.